Hi guys, Charlie here, VE7CQE, with another episode of Ham Talk. This time around, you're going to get to know us just a little bit better and learn a little bit about the antennas that I use and have built. First off, myself, I am just an old fart, plain and simply. I'm an old fart. I've been in ham radio for a little over 40 years, and I spent a lot of years working as a tattoo artist. I've also worked on broadcast radio, was an announcer for a while, and I've had other careers and other jobs in the past, but I've always been around radio and communications. Back in the heyday of CB radio, I was one of the big CB radio nuts. I got rather well known for that back in the day, and it was a natural progression to go from CB to ham radio, because when I was on CB radio, the ham operators and my Elmer VE3ZHM Hans Zakai back in Ontario were looked at by the CB operators with awe and respect as people that really knew their stuff, and were treated with a lot of respect, and ham radio was looked at as the upper echelon of where you really wanted to be. There's Miss Tina. Say hi, Miss Tina. Come on in. Miss Tina, come here for a second. Miss Tina is my wife. We've been married now for almost 5 years. And absolutely amazing, and I'm surprised that she can put up with me. She looks like a dream, but she can be one tough cookie when she wants to be. Let me tell you that. You don't want to mess with this lady. Now, my personal antenna is a Wark dipole turned into an inverted V. It's made of wire. The pop-ups will come very shortly as to how to build this thing, and the measurements are there. So when you get to that point, pause the video, write it down, or save the snapshot of it. Now, this particular antenna works beautifully on all bands, and yes, I do use a tuner for some of the bands, and it works beautifully. It is really cheap. Like I said, my whole point here is to save you some money. So if you can build this antenna, you've got a little time in your hand, it takes a couple of hours to build, go ahead and build it. All you need is wire, some wire cutters, and some something to act as insulators or spreaders to it, and that will work just fine. I personally, what I did is I have some plexiglass that I cut little strips out of and drilled holes through and use that as spreaders, and an insulator at the end. Now, if you're making this into an inverted V, you want to make it a little bit longer. And always make your antennas, especially when you're doing wire antennas, cut it longer, and then as you're testing it and you're using an antennalyzer, you can trim it down where you need to. And here's another tip. When you're trimming your antenna and getting things like that set up for it, don't necessarily cut it right away. Fold it back onto itself at the point that you want to test, and twirl it around, and then test it. Because when you fold it back onto itself, it'll have the same characteristics as if it were cut there. And once you got it where you want it, and all of those elements are where you want them, then and only then should you cut it and put it together. You're going to see that antenna here very shortly. Give it a build. It's I built it for under $5. It's 66 feet in the air, and with it I've had contacts everywhere in the world. I live in British Columbia, Canada, and we have talked to, Romania, we've talked to Kazakhstan, we've talked to South Africa, we've talked to Australia, Japan, all over Canada, all over the United States, literally everywhere in the world on this antenna. And I don't have an amplifier, so 100 watts is what we've been using. So there you go, the antenna schematics and that are coming up, and take a look and you'll see what I'm talking about.